Hey Gabe, and officially welcome to the team. It's great to have you on board as an analyst here.
Yeah, thanks. I have always wondered what it would be like to be an analyst. I always called myself an analyst back in the day because, frankly, I that's the group within vendors that we wanted to talk to. But yeah, it's really cool to actually have that analyst title now.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a busy time, right? In the EUC space, there's all sorts of topics that you and I have already been discussing around employee experience, improved IT efficiency, things that may have not been as important in the past, such as lower operational costs or lower capital costs, really have kind of sunken down to the bottom. I'm kind of curious, what are some of the top things that are on top of your mind that you're going to be focused on?
I spent my entire career really around desktop virtualization. In the last few
Yeah.
years, I spent at VMware focused on the intersection of Horizon and Azure. And so I've watched as customers have begun to pay more attention to the cloud. Cloud-based virtual desktops is something I co-authored a book in 2014. So we were talking about this 8 years ago. And over the last couple of years, obviously, this has become very top of mind. But there's also so much else going on that remote work or the hybrid workforce has brought out. Digital employee experience is one of those things that I want to dig a little bit deeper into. Unified communications and collaboration is so gigantic and it brushes up against EUC. And then unified endpoint management. Obviously, this is a bigger deal than it ever has been before, facilitating this hybrid workforce that we've never really had to deal with before. It's funny, just all these things that we've been talking about and educating people about for years and years are now up at the forefront of a lot of IT strategies.
A lot of things are definitely coming together. And one of my favorite things about this role is putting the white gloves on, really helping our clients recognize opportunities in the market and ultimately help them with their marketing and sales strategies. Have you're able to take your history around EUC as well as your practitioner experience recently over at VMware? Are you already recognizing ways that you can help ESG clients?
Oh yeah, and that
Yeah.
what I've always thought was my unique capability, or my strongest uh, feature is being able to communicate what organizations are trying to do to the companies that are trying to do them, what vendors are trying to
Sure.
do to the companies that are trying to do them. But I also have now a deep understanding of what it takes to actually bring a product to market or a service, and how that can affect not just the launch, but also customer perspective, end user
Sure.
experience, the success of an overall project. And I think being able to marry those two things together and to take that and apply it across a wide range of vendors, products, services, use cases, all of that is, I think that's really exciting. That's something new
Yeah,
every day.
no, I think it's a great thing to add in there. I know for sure our clients will appreciate it. And then the last little question is, I'm just curious, as you think about 2023, the research calendar, can you give us any sneak peek into some of the top things you may be thinking about there?
Oh man. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff on this list and we're not going to be able to pick it all. So I mentioned digital employee experience and I think that there's a big opportunity there to see what is important to organizations and what the vendors see is important based on their conversations with their customers. I also want to take a look at how people are doing Windows app management. And I don't know if we'll actually get to this or not, but that's something that's really interesting to me. Coming out of VMware, we had our own application management platforms there. There's so many other ones out there, and yet a lot of the customers that we talked to didn't actually do anything. So we can help with awareness there, just generally speaking, to let them know we can increase their efficiency in their IT departments. But also, there's so many cool things out there that companies can do, that are doing that can help these users. It'll be cool to interface with all of those organizations, all those vendors, and kind of help tell their story too.
Yeah, and you're coming on board in a cool time, right? I mean, 2 years ago is when everybody had the work from home mandate. Now people are almost getting ready for kind of more of a refresh cycle around that as well. So you're coming
Oh,
on,
sure.
where there's a lot of things aligning. So, we're definitely anxious to kind of dig into some of that research calendar and expand some of that research as well. And again, we're super happy to have you on board, Gabe.
Yeah, thanks. You reminded me, I've been focused on DaaS, like desktop as a service, but there's also like
Right.
PC as a service where we're
Right.
renting the PC still and the management of them, but they're not virtual. We're actually just doing the PCs, but the same kind of model, the same kind of cost shifting over to OpEx. All some of those dynamics still apply. And again, just the change in the workforce these days is so different. It'll be really great to unpack all of this. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
and
very excited.
what I'm thinking too is we have our annual technology spending intentions research coming up. So maybe you and I can get back together like this and go through some of the highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. We should totally do that.
Sounds great. Thanks, Gabe.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks for welcoming me into the ESG family.